Hey everyone, welcome to Aegis Moto Adventures. In this week's episode, I'm going to be replacing the front brake pads on Sumo, a KTM 790 Adventure R. Sumo's been experiencing some issues with the front brakes pulsating. It could be because the rotors are warped a little bit, and if that's the case, I'll also be replacing the rotors at a later date. But let's get started on this project of the front pads. It's not too terribly difficult. It's a little hard to see here, but these two screws are the screws that retain the brake pads that are housed inside the caliper here. On the back side of these screws, and if you can see it on the far side here, let's see if I can get it correctly here, there's a retainer nut. It's not really a nut, it's a retainer washer, a clip washer. And they look like this, that's on the back side of that screw. Those need to be removed first, and then you can back these screws out, which releases the brake pads. Now I've removed the screws that hold the brake pads in and also hold in the retaining springs here that keep tension on the pads. And these, and along with the screws that came out, are really dirty. So I'm going to use some brake cleaner and get those cleaned up so that they look good. Just used a little old plastic dish here to put the brake cleaner in, and a toothbrush to scrub it here. And as you can see, the spring clips here are actually silver, not black. That's how much road dust and debris and brake dust was on them. They were just coated. And the screws are cleaned off, and as you can see here, the brake pads are completely shot. They're gone, so they definitely needed to be replaced. So now we're going to start working on putting this all back together. Next thing I need to do here is separate the caliper so that I can get the new pads in, because they'll be wider than the old ones. I just used a big old flat screwdriver to push the calipers back out, and I've gone ahead and inserted the new brake pads in. And so the next thing I'll need to do is lube up the screws and get those inserted back in there and screwed down with the springs put on top of them. So that's getting close to being done here. That's how easy this job is. Okay, I have the screws back in. They go through both brake pads and the retaining spring here. And the only thing left to do is to put the safety clip here back on the back side of those screws to make sure that they can't vibrate loose and come loose, which would be catastrophic. And then this job will be done. Finally, give that front brake lever some squeezes until the brake pads are set, and now you're ready to go for a test ride. Well, I hope you like this video on the front brake pads being changed out. As you can see, it's not too terribly difficult, but hopefully it's helpful if you have to tackle this job yourself. Until the next time, take care. As it turned out, the brake pads did the job, and I won't need to replace the rotors. That saves quite a bit of money.